Chapter 6291. When Charlie saw his father-in-law coming back from outside with a smug look on his face, he knew that his return to the Calligraphy and Painting Association was a sure thing. So he deliberately asked him curiously, "Dad, why are you so happy? Is there something good happening?" Jacob smiled and said, "Good son-in-law, Master Orville is really amazing. You just finished talking to him this afternoon. And Conan came to beg me to return to the association in the evening. Then, Jacob said, he has arranged a director position for me, although it is several levels lower than the previous executive vice president. It is still acceptable. I have already promised him that I will go back to report tomorrow." Charlie nodded gently. Although his father-in-law has average ability and limited level, he can't let him stay at home all the time. It's better to find him something to do to save worry. So he smiled and said, "This is also good. At least you don't have to get bored at home." Jacob nodded excitedly and said, "I shocked Conan today. I told him exactly what I said. I already live in Thompson. Who really cares about the Calligraphy and Painting Association?" This buddy seemed to understand it all of a sudden. "Didn't you see his expression at that time? Oh my God, it's so wonderful." At this time, Claire opened the door and came in. He just heard Jacob dancing and saying wonderful, so he smiled and asked, "Dad, what wonderful thing are you talking about? You're so happy." Jacob saw that it was his daughter who came back and didn't want her to know about his affairs. So he smiled and said, "Nothing much. I'm talking to Charlie about our association. Claire, have you eaten?" "Yes," Claire said. "We had a working lunch at Emgrand." Then she asked, "Dad, how was your and Mom's time in Dubai?" Jacob no longer looked depressed and said with a smile, "It was good, it was good. Except for the heat, there was nothing wrong with it. Your mom was so engrossed in shopping that she made my legs thin." Claire nodded and asked him, "Where is Mom? Where did she go?" Jacob said, "She has gone back to her room to pack up. She bought too many things, so she'll probably need some time to put them in order. Why don't you go up to see her and give her some help?" "Okay," Claire said. "Then I'll go upstairs to see Mom first. You can chat with Charlie first." Claire entered the elevator and went upstairs. Jacob quickly said to Charlie, "Good son-in-law, don't tell Claire about my affairs. It's embarrassing." Charlie nodded and said, "Don't worry, Dad. I know what's going on." Jacob was relieved and said with a smile, "That's good." After that, he quickly moved closer to Charlie and whispered, "Also, good son-in-law, thank you so much for all this." Charlie smiled and said, "Dad, don't be so polite. It's mainly because of Orville's efforts. Otherwise, I can't do anything about it." Jacob said seriously, "Good son-in-law, Master Orville has helped us so much. We should have more respect for him in our hearts. Even if we are not in front of him, we should call him Master Orville. We can't just call him Orville. It's not appropriate. Look at me. I always call him Master Orville with respect." Charlie smiled helplessly and said, "Dad, you can call him whatever you want. But don't bother me. It's not appropriate for me to call him Master Orville. And he won't like it." After that, he stood up and said without waiting for Jacob to speak, "Dad, there is nothing else, I will go up first." The next day, Jacob drove to the Calligraphy and Painting Association to report early in the morning. Although many people did talk about his return behind his back, since every vice president had greeted him privately, no one dared to discuss Jacob's affairs publicly at that time. Jacob was a little nervous at first, fearing that he would be ridiculed. But he didn't expect that everyone was very polite to him, which completely dispelled his doubts.